welcome to the Vegan Luna podcast. I am here with Mr. Cheesy Vegan. He is someone that makes me laugh. He makes a lot of people laugh. He brings a very interesting side to veganism that not very many people do. It's humor. There's one other big time kind of YouTube, social media kind of star that I can think of that's super funny, that gives great information, and it's Mike the Vegan. Honestly, you remind me of Mike the Vegan. He's super funny. He's always...
That's an incredible compliment. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and you give great information, so it's a double whammy. You get the laughs and you get awesome information. It's a great way to kind of break the ice, and I really love that. So what I want to do right now is to start off the podcast, I'm going to ask you 5 quick vegan questions. We call this quick vegan questions. You can answer them quickly off the top of your head. Yeah, just like that. All right.
Man, before you go, I just want to let you know that I am also live. Anyone who popped on a live, I am on a podcast with Vegan Luna.
What's up, everyone?
Legend. So, man, I'm going to pin it so anyone who comes on can see your profile at vegan dot.
Vegan underscore.
Underscore LUNA.
Underscore. One more underscore. After the
underscore. Easy peasy, and that's it.
Yep. All right. Excellent.
Brilliant. Absolute legend. So, guys, I'm just going to leave you here while we do the podcast. Feel free to stay and watch or leave. Totally up to you. Either way, we're going to rock the podcast, and it's going to be lovely.
Heck yeah, brother. All right. So, question number 1 of the 5 quick vegan questions. What was it like going live with Plant-Based News? I just saw that. That was amazing.
Dude, I admire him so much. I admire Robbie so much. And that was so special to me. When I saw him pop on my live, I was like, I had to get heavy breathing. All right, stay calm, stay calm. And it was so special when he's like, hey, dude, we should chat about this Impossible Burger issue sometime. And I'm like, how about right now? And he jumped on, and seeing his face just absolutely made my day. We had the exact same view on the Impossible Burger issue, which is number 1, don't do what I'm doing right now, which is don't put energy into it, because we need to be putting energy into helping people go vegan and helping people become vegan activists. And we shouldn't be trying to tear down a company with the goal of turning the world plant-based. And it was lovely to have that conversation. So to answer your question, you said quick. It was, what's the best word I can think of? Blithesome. It fills me full of joy.
Wow. That's incredible. Yeah. What an amazing thing too, because think about this, like they have almost 500,000 followers. So you're making a huge impact on so many people, and you're putting out a message out there that a lot of people are going to see. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you jump up to 50,000 followers in the next several weeks.
I appreciate that a lot. You know what? I'm going to hold you to that. If I'm not at 50,000 followers in the next 7 days, you're getting sued.
I said few weeks, so that could mean a lot of things. I mean, that could be like, 100 weeks from now is a few, right? So
yeah, they're pulling dodges already.
Yeah.
I see how.
All right. Question number 2. Who are your 3 favorite activists?
Number 1 will always be James Aspey. I admire his calmness so much, and he is the exception to do not meet your heroes, because he is absolutely incredible. He's the most genuine person I've ever met, and I know that he is 100% in it for the animals, not for the followers, not for anything else. He's in it for the animals, and I admire that a lot. Number 2 I'm gonna have to say Joey, James, and Ed. They're probably my 3, man, because Ed brings so much logic and Joey brings so much passion. But they're, if I'm labeling those as maybe 1, because it's the Joey, James, and Ed trio, my favorite Instagram account is at whereismyB12, because I see memes as activism, and her memes are absolutely off chops. I think she's incredible. And my number 3, I'm going to have to pin Recovering Carnist and Hudson Tarlow into 1. I absolutely love those guys. Marcus and Hudson are incredible activists. So those are my top 3, but really 6. Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, those guys are so inspirational. I think for me, the biggest connection between all those that you mentioned would probably be Joey Carbstrong. When I first went vegan, he was the first YouTube channel that I probably came across that was doing activism on the street. And the thing that he helped me most is how to answer all the questions. So, I mean, they all three do the same really well. But for me, it was Joey Carbstrong first, and then like Earthling Ed, and then James Aspie. And so when I would watch his videos, I would really learn how to answer all the questions, you know? So they're like, well, what about protein? Or what about plants have feelings? Or what about, you know, our ancestors? And those kind of questions that you get on the regular, you know how to answer them. And like, sometimes I say, and I'm like to an individual, especially online, I'm like, I don't think you realize how many times I've answered this particular question. I kind of have it down. Like I pretty much just have all the excuses on my notes and I just copy and paste almost, you know, and it saves a lot of time.
Dude, sometimes when I'm feeling particularly unkind, I just want to say, like, I wish you knew how unoriginal that comment is because I've heard it a million times and I know exactly how I'm going to respond to it, but I don't come from that place because it won't be helpful.
Yeah, I always think of like when our comments and what we say online is it's not really like some people say, oh, why are you spending so much time on that person? It's like the reason isn't for that individual. It's also for the person that is reading those comments. What we don't think about is our audience isn't the person we're talking to. Our audience is the people reading these comments. Same thing with the YouTube. Do you think the focus of Joey or James's or Earthling Ed's YouTube is the individual they're talking to? No way. It's the audience. It's the people listening. It's the people watching those conversations. Because what I like about those videos when you ask a question is you see the emotion. You see the body language. What we communicate is 70% body language. So when you ask a question of like, well, are you against animal abuse? And you just look at their face and the face says, hell no. Or hell yes, I'm against animal abuse. And then the way that they answer is a totally different thing. So, I mean, the conversation go any way, but body language doesn't lie. And so I think it's so powerful. All right. Yeah. I love that. And I got to look up, where is your B12? Because I don't think I've seen that yet. So I'll definitely look that up. All right.
Where is my B12?
Yeah, I'll look that one up for sure. All right. So next is, what is the most ridiculous excuse you've heard someone use to not go vegan? The most ridiculous, like, oh my God, I can't believe this one. It's probably not a common one. Or it could be a common one. Just the most ridiculous one.
That's a really good question because there are just so many. What is the most ridiculous excuse I've ever heard? Probably that there are 21 nutrients that are impossible to get on a vegan diet.
21?
I think that's the number. That's spherings, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, gosh.
Are probably incredible because they are the most anti-scientific, pseudo-scientific statements I've ever heard in my life, dude.
Yeah, he's definitely something else. Yeah, 21 nutrients, definitely false. Definitely not true. You can get all the essential nutrients you need on a plant-based diet. I mean, B12 is probably the closest one that's a challenge, and you could easily supplement that or get that from fortified food if you really want, and go outside and get some sun, get your vitamin D. Should be good. All right, so yeah, so next one is, are you excited, or how excited are you for the new Game Changers movie?
Game Changers is going to, I don't want to say it because it almost keeps on coming out as it's going to be a game changer, and that's what everyone says, and I feel so corny saying it, but it is probably going to be the biggest like vegan documentary that will come out in this time. Because, dude, I think that the most toxic, like hard to change people are the protein junkies. And that is the only excuse that people have left. Everybody knows that you can be perfectly healthy on a vegan diet, but there are still a minute few who think that you need like animal protein from meat to build muscle. And dude, when you see Arnold Schwarzenegger telling you that, oh yeah, I've been able to maintain the muscle I have, but I've also lowered my cholesterol, and the only thing I've done is I've stopped eating animal products. I mean, dude, it's going to change the game. It's showing just so many people, so many high level athletes that we don't even realize. Like, you know, the what are they called? Williams sisters. right? Like
Serena Williams, Venus Williams.
Right? Yeah, Novak Djokovic, like so many high-level athletes we don't realize are vegan because it is so much more optimum for performance.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a huge piece, and I think that a lot of people are going to be really surprised by that and really open their mind, and even females too. The most common question I get from females, which I can't believe, is I don't know how to get enough protein on a vegan diet. And I'm just thinking,
wow.
What? Like even the females are in the protein myth and are like in the belief that they need more protein, which is just wild because they need less than a man. And so it blows me away. But also the amount of people that are behind that movie, the amount of big names, James Cameron directing it, and Jackie Chan co-producing it, and Novak Djokovic, and the amount of people that are behind that movie is incredible. The time they get, the best editors, the best advertisers, they spent top dollar. This is a full-blown high value or high cost production. This isn't cheap production value. This isn't like two guys making a documentary. This is like Hollywood status documentary. Like they're pulling out all stops.
And everyone who's come out of that movie has just been like, whoa, that is another level. Because it is, you're so right. They put top dollar and they got the best people doing it, man. And I'm kind of happy that they took their time with it. You know how they kept on pushing the release date back and back and back? I'm like, oh man, I just want to see this movie. I'm so stoked they took their time with it because they're probably like all in the long run, it's going to be the most effective thing to do is make it as amazing as possible. Dude, you're right. It's going to change the world.
And think about the hype. Like maybe unintentionally, they're creating so much more hype about this that they might, this weight might be so much better for publicity.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%, dude.
Yeah. All right, bro. So next question is, where did the name The Cheesy Vegan come from?
The name The Cheesy Vegan is the most uninteresting story that you will ever hear. I was like, initially started my YouTube channel. It was actually like, I remember we were going to Disneyland or something, and I looked up vegan at Disneyland, and there was just no information. And I was just like, ding, all right, I might be able to make a video about this. So I'm going to do the hard yards, and I'm going to find out what's vegan, and I'll make a video about it. So I just made my YouTube name Traveling Vegan. And I made videos, you know, like vegan at Disneyland, vegan at Universal Studios, vegan in Santorini, all those things. I just like spent my travel time scouring the place, trying to find the best vegan things you possibly could, like finding soy milk in Santorini. Man, that's hard, but I did it. And I thought I would make it easier for people. But then I was kind of like, traveling vegan. You know, I kind of liked it as a verb, like, yeah, traveling vegan, we're traveling vegan, but it came across as like the traveling vegan, and I hated the sound of that. So I was like, nope, new list. I got a list of names down. I can't even remember what they were. Some of them were just absolutely ridiculous. And, you know, dude, I can just be a little bit cheesy. And so I was like, that's funny. I like it. I chucked that suggestion out there. People seem to like it, and it just stuck. You know what? If people like listening know me, it's very unlikely that you know me as Jake, because very few people do. People just know me as Cheesy. And so even if I didn't like the name, it's just stuck now. But I do. I like it. Yeah,
for sure. I think it's that's not a very uninteresting story. I thought it was going to be much more boring. But I definitely like it. It's funny that you say traveling vegan, because when I first went vegan, I wanted to travel and I wanted to go to all the restaurants, and I was doing like blogs and videos. And if you look at my old YouTube videos, you can see like going to restaurants. You can see me rating them on their service, their quality, there's just the atmosphere. Like it was kind of fun.
Wow.
But
then I realized, we kind of started in a similar fashion.
Say it again.
We kind of started in a similar fashion, huh?
Yeah, I think so. So I think that's very interesting. So those are the quick vegan questions. So tell us a little bit about yourself now that we got the icebreaker done.
Well, my name, as most people know me, is Cheesy, but my real name is Jake. I was born in Melbourne, very quickly moved to Sydney. I was brought up in southwest Sydney in Campbelltown. If you know, Campbelltown, it is, yeah, like southwest Sydney, the dodgiest part of Sydney you can get to. And I absolutely love it. I love being around here. It's got a cool vibe. I was brought up on a typical Campbelltown diet, which is mac and cheese and meat pies. But as you know, eventually got out of that. I had a very kind of normal childhood, ADHD kid, always a little bit cheeky, went off the rails a little bit in high school, and then met my wife, who kind of helped me get back on the right track. And now, you know, in year 12, I was just kind of like, yeah, I need something to do. I might as well study to become a teacher. And it turns out that it's just the most incredible job in the world. So now I teach year 2 kids. Would probably be my number 2 passion to activism. My number one would definitely.
You teach what kids? Sorry, say it again.
Year 2 kids. So in Australia, year 2 is like 7-year-olds. I teach 7-year-olds. Sometimes 8-year-olds. It's such a fun job, man. It's incredible, and it's, you know, partially because everything we do has some ego involved, and I'm sure it's because, you know, I feel like I'm making a difference when I do it. But I feel like I make a bigger difference when I do activism. So that's always going to be my number one.
Yeah, I think I agree. I've always had, like, for me personally, a strong passion for educating and teaching and inspiring others. And in my work setting, we would do this course, and this course would teach you, it was called the DISC management course. So a D is like a certain style, I is a certain style, S, and then C, right? So okay. I was an I out of those 4. You're usually one of those 4, and maybe another one. But anyways, I is influential. So I like to have high influence on people. I like to influence and create change and creativity and open people's minds and that sort of stuff. Right. And it's just so funny that when I would read those reports and realize how I am, I realized that this is perfect. What I'm doing right now is just continuing to spread the message in the most effective way, educating, teaching, through any means necessary, really, almost any way possible. The reason why starting a podcast is I think I could reach more people. You know, why not film it? Why not put it on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram? So that's the idea, is to spread the message. So I think I'm with you on the education and teaching. I think if education or being a teacher wasn't so hard and so low paying in the U.S., I might have wanted to be a teacher. Because I'm from the U.S. I'm from California, but I'm currently in Kuwait. Oh. So yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy story for another day, because it's all about you today. So what I want to ask you right now is, you were talking about activism and that sort of stuff, and I think that in today's age, it's becoming more common. A lot more people are going vegan, and they're making that decision, and they're making that change, and they're making that what we call a lifestyle change. It's not a diet. It isn't something that you wake up one day and you're like, you know what, I just want to be healthier. Some people do that, but it's not about health. It isn't even about the environment, even though it's a huge, huge part. But going vegan is really about the animals. Going vegan is about stopping harm to animals as much as possible and practical. And I know that 99% of the people in the world are animal lovers, and they say they're animal lovers, but there's some sort of disconnect when it comes to our food, and what we eat and what it means to love and that sort of stuff. So my question for you is, with all that being said, why did you decide to go vegan, and what's your reason for it?
Dude, I don't really know. It was very it happened so quickly, but it was also gradual. I think it was like Joey's kind of point system, you know, like I just had vegan points coming into my head slowly, and I didn't realize they were there, because I remember just before I started thinking about stopping eating meat, I started buying like a lot of free range stuff. I always did, but I was making sure everything I got needed to be free range. I started, you know, talking about it more, but it didn't even register to me that it was a change in my life. And all of a sudden, I just remember thinking, like, I'm pretty unhappy with the way I was eating. I wasn't happy with my health. So I was like, okay, well, if I stop eating meat, I'll have to eat more vegetables. Because as I told you, dude, I was brought up on meat pies and mac and cheese. I did not have a good diet. And so I was like, I'm going to be forced to eat more healthy things. Little did I know there's vegan junk food. I know that now. But I just thought in my head that I'd have to eat more fruits and vegetables. And so I did that. I started eating a little bit better. And as soon as you stop participating in something, it becomes so much easier to take on the information. I was the kind of person, a week before I stopped eating meat, maybe 2 weeks, was my now wife's 21st birthday. And I remember her vegetarian friend started walking up to me when I was doing the barbecue, and something must have clicked inside me. Like, I now look back and I think it must have been discomfort, and I just had to like show that in some way, like deflect it. But I picked it up and I was like, blah, 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 the sausage into her face. I'm like, why did I do that? That's not me. But like, it just shows what this subject does to us when we're participating in something like these industries. We don't want to feel like we're a part of it, and we'll do anything to deflect it. But, you know, like a couple of weeks later, I stopped eating meat, and then I was open to the information. So I started watching some documentaries. I remember I watched, I think, Forks Over Knives. Super, super interesting. I was like, yep, very cool. Starting to think more about health. And then I saw Cowspiracy pop up. It's like, oh, it's a little bit interesting. Turned it on, like absolutely blown away when watching it, like barely could blink. And as soon as it stopped, I was just like, damn it. Like, if I think I'm the person that I am, I'm a teacher, I like to think that I'm a good person who makes moral decisions. I can't walk away from this knowing what I know and not be a vegan. And at this point, this decision sucked. I didn't want to be a vegan. Veganism to me was a boring thing you could do, but I was like, shit, I've got to go vegan. And I walked out to the kitchen and I said to, again, my now wife, I was like, Lauren, I think I've got to go vegan. And she's like, no. You've done enough with this vegetarian shit. You're not going vegan. And I was like, I think I have to. And, dude, I had no idea what I was doing. We went to Hawaii right after I went vegan. You know what I ate? We always went to the Cheesecake Factory. She was still eating meat at this point, only for a couple of weeks. She got like a chicken burger or something. I didn't know what to get, so I got a salad, got back to our apartment and bought oats and peanut butter and put peanut butter in oats and ate that for dinner instead. I had no idea what I was doing. But obviously, the longer you're vegan, you learn the recipes, you learn the alternatives, and it turned out to just be the absolute easiest thing in the world. And it's easily the best decision I've ever made. Since going vegan, I've become much more conscious and ethical in all other facets of my life. I buy ethical clothing. I make sure my food comes from ethical places. I'm just a much more conscious consumer now that I've gone vegan. It's easily the best thing that has ever happened to me. Other than Lauren, maybe time.
Yeah. So why do you think it was a big block for you? Why do you think that you had maybe this block in your mind that was preventing you from maybe making the decision?
I think it's because there are very few things in our life that we participate in that are like inherently evil or bad, and we don't want to accept that we have been participating in these things. And I think for me, you know, like when I had the vegetarian friend coming up to me when I was doing the barbecue, that was like, it's one of the first times in my life that I ever had to confront the fact that this is like, she's vegetarian because she doesn't want to hurt animals, and I am choosing to do the opposite. I am participating in something that hurts animals, and you don't want to think about that because it hurts. Like being vegan, you need to get over that initial pain that you have participated in something that is just so inherently immoral. And I think denial is such an easy way to cope with that. It's certainly easier than coming to terms with the fact that you've participated in something bad. I think for most of us are good people, and we don't want to think in any way that we've done something bad. I think that was it for me, at least.
Yeah, I think I agree. I was having a conversation with my aunt, and she grew up, or she was vegan for a part of her life, and she's vegetarian, and two of her sons are vegetarian, my cousins, because my uncle was vegan. So that's where I first experienced a little bit about that, a little bit about the food. But we were having a conversation on Facebook the other day, and she was saying, well, I think that my son has caused less harm in his life because he's been vegetarian, because it was something about cheese and how cheese causes harm. And I said, you might be right. You might be right, that he has. And I said, my goal now is to repay my debts. I'm accepting that. I'm not denying that. I've never denied that I used to eat meat. I ate meat for 29 years. I accept that. I take ownership.
You're over 29. Look at your face.
I know.
Beautiful.
It's I use this special cream. No, I'm just kidding. I actually just rub carrot juice on my face. No, I don't even wash my face. I'm actually 31. I've been vegan for 2 years. I'm 31. Jesus, how old are you?
I don't want to tell you because I look 47 years older than you. I'm 25.
25, yeah. So you look the same as you do right now when you're 31. So don't even trip. All right? Yeah, for sure. You will. I mean, unless you get like some gray hairs or something like that.
Maybe the stress of that. Sorry to interrupt your story, man. You just absolutely blew my...
No worries. All right. So I said that I ate meat for 29 years and I'm repaying a debt. So I owe debt. I am in debt. So in order to get out of debt, I need to, 1, stop paying for animal abuse myself, and 2, help others, because that'll speed up the debt. That'll pay off my debt. So if I have 29 years of eating meat and you average whatever it is, 100 animals a year, 300 animals a year, whatever the estimation is, that's a lot of animals, right? And so I have to repay that debt. So part of me repaying that debt is being active. Part of it is sharing. Part of it is spreading. But even I filmed inside a slaughterhouse when I was in Bali. I filmed pig slaughter and halal cow slaughter. And as horrible and crazy as that is, I felt that I had to see this and I had to share their story. So what I noticed is that for me personally, is that experience helped fuel my fire. It helped fuel me to become more active, and it helped me not want to put their suffering in vain. So bearing witness and seeing what happens. Also, I understand. I can't say that I've never seen it. I've seen it, and I know what happens inside a slaughterhouse versus just from a video or whatever.
It only hit me a while ago that it absolutely blew my mind that 99% of people, and I'm really, really confident in this, is that if they knew what I knew and they had seen what I've seen, they would be vegan as well. And that is really encouraging to me because it just means it's a matter of education. Most of us are good people. Most of us don't want to harm animals if we don't need to. And there are people who do. We're not aiming for those people. So I couldn't agree with you more, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. So the next thing I want to talk about is, what do you do specifically in your time, in your spare time, to speak up for animals? How are you active?
2 things. I do 2 things. So I am on the streets almost every single week. The only exception to that is when I'm taking time off to do my number 2 thing. And my second thing that I do is content creation on Instagram is my main platform, but I also use Facebook. I think, being on the streets, talking to people, showing them footage calmly and kindly and having good discussions is one of the most impactful things that we can do as vegans. It makes a huge impact. I've had days where I've helped very, very confidently, I'm sure I've helped at least 10 people, 15 people go vegan. Because you can tell when people are genuine, man. They'll give you a hug. They're like, thank you so much. I see in their eyes that they have the same realization that I did. They're like, wow, this is what happens? I don't want to pay for that. I think I'm a good person. Is that what I pay for? All right, I'm going to stop paying for that. It's incredible. And it's so tangible, the results, because you're seeing people go vegan in front of your eyes. And it's incredible. I might have possibly max, 20 conversations a day. Where things changed for me, when I started putting more energy into my second thing, which is social media, is when I maybe put about 30 minutes into creating a video, and that video reached 200,000 people. And I was like, I don't think I'll ever in my life speak to 200,000 people about veganism. The reach for social media is mind-blowing, and we don't appreciate the numbers. When I'm looking at my live right now, I have 6 people joining. Man, I love you so much. I love these people. But 6 people, you're like, oh, that doesn't seem like that many people. Imagine 6 people in a room. 6 people is a lot of people. When we post and we have 13 people like it, we're like, oh, only 13 people like it. 13 people's a lot of people. When you start getting up to numbers like 100, if you have 100 friends on Facebook, you're like, I only have 100 friends. 100 people? That's just 100 people in a room. We have this disconnect of social media, that number, we just don't see it as the number that it actually is. And so if I can make a post and it reaches 20 people on social media, that's very similar to me speaking to 20 people on the streets. If I can put a day of energy into being on the streets and helping 10 people go vegan, or 30 minutes of energy having fun, trying to make funny videos and reaching 200,000 people with an easier to digest message that I had more fun doing, didn't have to look at slaughterhouse footage in the meantime, I know now where I'm going to put most of my energy. And I think those two things, man, they're easily the two easiest things that anyone could do, especially social media. Activism is posting a cute picture of a pig. Like, activism is posting vegan memes. Activism is showing your happy, healthy self on social media. Like, just post and make sure people know that you're vegan.
Yeah, absolutely. I follow a guy, he's not vegan, that I know for sure, but he's a huge influencer and he specializes in social media, and he created a digital marketing company that's huge and makes millions and millions of dollars. But his name is Gary Vaynerchuk, or Gary V.
Yeah.
You might have heard him, super popular.
I've never heard his content, but I've heard a lot of good things.
Yeah, so you got to take a look at his content. He'll inspire you to do more on social media. He believes in the impact. He was an original investor in Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So he knows everything in that field. And what I love about his message is he helps you to really scale, and he helps you to improve your Instagram and all your social media. He does everything from LinkedIn to podcasts to all of it. He's even on TikTok. His big thing right now is TikTok. And you're like, what the heck? Why TikTok? And the reason why TikTok is because that's where the new generation is coming. It's a trend, you know. You had MySpace, then you had Facebook, and then you have Instagram, and then you have Snapchat. Now you have TikTok, right? TikTok is next. At one point, Snapchat was like 8-year-olds and 10-year-olds. Well, that's what TikTok is. It's that same generation. So guess what's going to happen? Look how big Snapchat is. Yeah, TikTok will be next. Right. But the point is, it's the social media, it's the activism, it's how many people you can reach. And I'm a huge believer in that, and I love it. And like you said, like, yeah, do I want to go on the streets and do something that's taxing, it's time consuming, it's a big journey, and it's very important? Or can I spend a shorter amount of time having fun, doing what I love, and reach even more people? And that's amazing. I want to talk about, I know you talked about your big one at 200,000. Where was that? You had 200,000.
I was on Facebook, yeah.
Okay, on Facebook, yeah. I had one that was not an original creation, but it was like I reposted it. Basically, like I took it from Instagram. I took the video. It was of a cow, right? And this beautiful cow. And oh no, it wasn't. There was two actually. The second one was a farm animals that had been freed for the first time. So it showed pigs that were free for the first time, running around on grass. Yeah. It showed like a hen spreading its wings for the first time. It showed, I think it was a vulture. It was a huge bird, like flying for the first time. It showed a lot of different animals kind of being free for the first time in captivity. And so I took that from Instagram and I reposted on Facebook. It had 11 million views. From my feed. It was crazy. I was like I have so many friend requests. It's in the thousands because I can't keep up with that. When something goes viral, it was just nuts. I have no more room for people. I just have to hope they follow me, I guess. Like there's no more room.
That's so incredible. Good on you, man. You reached 11 million people. Like,
it was absolutely, it was nuts. Yeah. It was crazy. But I want to talk about not that, because I want to talk about your Instagram TV one, your IGTV one. I think it was at 20,000 views, which is more than anything that I have on Instagram TV. And I love that platform. I want you to share about that video that I'm talking about, the why go vegan, or what is the title?
Why I'm no longer vegan.
Why I'm no longer vegan. Yeah. So share a little bit about that, and what does that mean, and how was the creation of that video, and what inspired you to make a video like that?
We actually, the one I only realized today that hit 200,000 views was with a friend of mine, Matt, and we were just speaking one day. I think we're just like, man, like, this would be so funny if we made this video. And then we're like, actually, you know what? Like, I reckon it would have a big impact, because when it's funny, people just watch it and they laugh along and they kind of change their mind without realizing. And it was just a video of like, we were getting so many people, and it was such a big thing in the media at the time of like, oh, you're vegan? Well, vegans only care about animals. They don't care about the humans. So we were just poking fun at that. And we're just like, he picks up vegan cheese. And I'm like, don't you know there's a war happening in Syria? And he's like, oh, you're right. I'll get the cow dairy cheese. Like, just pointing out the stupidity of it. That's where the idea for humor started. And we saw the reach, and we're just like, okay, yeah, this is where we should be putting our energy. And that was almost a year ago. And I stopped making those videos. I don't have a good reason for why. And only recently I've had the spark again. After I've taken a little bit of a semi break from social media, I know that this is where I should be putting my energy. And that's why I came back, like, all guns blazing, like, gonna start making a hell of a lot of videos. I hit up Recovering Carnus and the Hudson Tarlo because I see that they have an incredible reach and I think they're hilarious. So I said, I reckon we should make a video saying why I'm no longer vegan, because that's something, again, a problem I see in the community is that people are worried about going vegan because there are so many ex-vegans. But when you look at every single ex-vegan, you'll see that they were never really vegan in the first place. They were like, I would call them at the most plant-based. Like, they were trying it for health. And a lot of them weren't actually 100% plant-based. Tim Sheaf is a great example. He said that veganism ruined his health after going on a, 40-day, 30-day water fast and then drinking his own pee. It's like, yeah, veganism ruined my health. All right. That's an example that we just tried to poke fun at. We just had an exaggerated version of that character, and we just thought it would be funny. So we realized, like, people are going to have a laugh, but then it's going to be out there for, first of all, the vegans who might be worried because they're like, oh, man, there are so many ex-vegans around. Like, what if I'm going to get sick as a vegan? Like, it just shows you, like, they weren't vegan. Look at these reasons. We're going to poke fun at that. And it shows non-vegans who were possibly like, we had a lot of it on the streets, people saying, oh, haven't you seen all these ex-vegans lately? You just wait at the 5 or 6 year mark. That's when you're not going to be able to be vegan anymore. That's when they all crumble. It shows them how absolutely ridiculous it is. And that was a very long-winded way of telling you where the idea came from. I just, like, both of those things, we found a very serious issue, like my other video with the Amazon rainforest fire. It's a very, very serious issue, and find a way to make it easy to digest and funny, subjectively funny. I think it's funny. I don't think many other people think I'm funny, for people to try and get the message. And I have more fun making it. It has a better reach. And, you know, putting it on IGTV was just a total fluke. It was like, this video is over a minute. I was going to cut it into minute pieces to post it on Instagram. And I was like, oh, that thing, IGTV exists. All right, I'll just put it in a big video format and then we'll put it on IGTV. And I think somehow I ended up on, like, the IGTV homepage. And so, like, I've had so many new people, like almost 1,000 people in the last pretty much week come to my page now. And that's thanks to IGTV. So, you know, I know we're talking about it a little bit before you got started. This seems like it is a very, very good place for you and I and anybody who's listening or watching to put their energy. IGTV seems like a great place to do it.
Yeah, what I love about IGTV, first of all, it has the long format videos. You're not limited. In the beginning, you were only limited to, like, the vertical, right? But now you can do the full horizontal. You can make that switch, and it looks good on the feed, on the Instagram feed. I like it has a preview. I love the preview. Yeah. So you can watch the first minute and get an idea. You know what? I think I want to spend more time watching this. How much more time is left? Oh, only 2 minutes. Okay, I can do that, or whatever the number is. I think when you're at 10,000 followers plus, you can do up to 60-minute IGTV videos. So that's the goal, right? So get to 10K, and then you could do longer videos if you want. And then I like the no ads. So, like, YouTube, if you think like a video platform, YouTube versus Instagram, you have ads on YouTube, and it can get really annoying. There's no ads on IGTV. I mean, there's the small sponsored ads that you might see, but I haven't seen any of those yet. So, and it's very fast. So it's very, very quick. So when you go from one video to the next, it's so fast, and it's growing like crazy. It's expanding so fast. It's going to be one of the next biggest platforms, I believe. And I think that we need to go heavy on Instagram TV. My focus for me personally, as far as Instagram TV goes, is my original plan right now is upload a podcast and then cut like 5 different segments of that podcast. If you look through my IGTV, like all my recent clips are directly from the podcast. So it's great conversations that we're having, and it could be 2 minutes, 5 minutes, a quick little part of the podcast. So one, it teaches you something. It gets you a little bit educated. The second thing is that also it's promoting the podcast. So it's getting the people a little preview of what it's about and what they're likely to see if they decide to watch it. So it's kind of like a double whammy, I would say.
You're so right, man. What a good place to be putting your energy right now. I think that's a good bet.
Yeah, I think I like how people will do like the words at the top, like the main point of the video, like why I'm no longer vegan, and then the subtitles at the bottom. And it's just easy to look at, because I think Instagram's idea is they take the phone, right? And how do you hold your phone? And they figure, well, how can we just keep it in that same direction, basically? Yeah. Like, how do we're already holding our phone this way. So Instagram thought, how do I just keep them holding their phone that way versus I'm going to turn it sideways, you know? And you're just like, you're just watching it. It's easy to flip through. It's fast. It's a great platform.
So right, man. I'm definitely, you know what, this conversation sparked a little bit in me as well. I think I'm actually going to get off my butt and make another video when we hop off this. No, you're right. It takes up more of the screen as well, which is a fun fact for anyone creating content. When people are scrolling through, if yours takes up more of like a, not horizontal, of like a vertical feed, if you make it long, it takes up more. So they're scrolling past for longer. They're more likely to see it. Yeah. It's a great format. Yeah.
There's a lot of opportunities, a lot of chances. I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but it grew on me. It definitely grew on me. So for sure, I like your 2 buddies, Recovering Carnist, and what was the second guy's name? Recovering Carnist and
Hudson Tarlow.
Hudson Tarlow. Yeah, I follow those guys as well. Cool. They're amazing. I really actually like the name Recovering Carnist. I think that's hilarious.
Dude, it is so. I kind of want to steal it. Yeah.
I was talking about it yesterday, and I was thinking that is a perfect name. It's so funny because it's just like It describes who we are, and we're all recovering carnists.
For sure. Yeah, man.
So I definitely love that. So that's hilarious. So to wrap this podcast up, what I want to share, or what I want you to share, is maybe one big thing, maybe from this conversation that you don't want people to forget, or one thing that you want to add that you really don't want people to forget.
All right. Yeah. I know what it is, because I've spent a long time thinking about this, and it's exactly what we've spoken about, man. What I want to stress so much is that activism is so many different things. Activism, I think, is just you trying to help. And I think the best form of activism is, you know, the most effective one we can think of, the one you can put the least amount of energy into. Hopefully you can put a lot of positive energy into it, like you're enjoying yourself, and the one that has the biggest reach. And for me, at least speaking from personal experience, by far the one that I have the most fun with, the one I need to put the least amount of energy into, the one where I connect to amazing, amazing, amazing people, is social media, and it has the biggest reach. So I would say to anyone, whether you have, 5 friends on Facebook, 10 friends, 1,000 friends, 1 million followers, 5 followers, just post. Imagine that amount of people in a room, and imagine you had a few seconds with them, and you could just, show them quickly what happens when you release animals from slaughterhouses like you did on Facebook. Show them a cute little pig. If you want to show slaughterhouse footage, I honestly, if you're doing it on a Facebook, wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend positive posts. Whoops. Battery's low. Use a little bit of humor, repost some vegan memes, just like utilize social media, because we are really the first social movement, other than maybe the gay pride movement, that has had social media. I think we are so lucky, and we need to take advantage of it. So use social media. Do not think that activism is being like James Aspey and Joey Carbstrong. It's not. If you're trying to help, you're doing activism. So just do it. Get active.
Why do you think people are scared, real quick? I know we're wrapping this up, but why are people scared to start that social media activism? Like, I know that there's a big, for me personally, when I was like deciding I want to share this, I was very hesitant. I'll be honest. I was like, should I share this on Facebook? All my friends are going to see this. All my family. What are they going to think of me?
That's the question, man. That's it. You exactly just hit the nail on the head. It is fear of judgment, right? We all have it. It's just fear of judgment. But you just got to rock it. Like, if you don't give yourself a label, somebody else will give you a label. And, you know, I learned that, I wouldn't necessarily say the hard way, but I learned it the long way. And just rocking the label and realizing, like, when you get that hate, which you will, if you put yourself out there, people who have that fear of judgment are going to judge you because they're going to deflect that stuff, man. You need to realize, like, don't get upset, feel sorry for them. Wouldn't you rather be the one who is helping, the one who's, like, going to leave a legacy, than the one who is spending their time judging others, doing nothing? And dude, you said add one more thing. I can't believe I didn't add this. This is one of the most important things about activism that totally changed my perspective, is that, you know, we think that being vegan is so, like, the most important thing we can do. When you or I go vegan, we save maybe 360 animals a year. Amazing. If you help one other person go vegan, you've doubled it. 320 people, 320 animals a year are now getting saved thanks to you. For a 5-minute conversation, maybe you doubled your impact. Maybe they're going to help someone go vegan. If you, on social media, like you did, reach 11 million people, reach 20 people, times your impact by 20, is saving then per year up to like thousands of animals. That's the legacy that you leave. Thousands of animals don't get gassed or have their throats slit. What an amazing legacy to leave behind, man. We gotta make it tangible for ourselves. Think about it in numbers, how many animal lives you're saving. Like, appreciate that shit. Like, recognize that you're doing a good thing. Being active is more important than being vegan.
Yeah, and some people don't realize the fulfillment that you feel when you know that you're in service to others that are in need. So when someone needs help and you give them help and you help them in some way, the fulfillment that you feel, the gratitude, the appreciation, the happiness that you truly feel from giving that individual help, whether it's an animal or a person, is something that if you haven't done it, I encourage you to do it so you get those feelings. If you have helped someone in some form in the past, you know that feeling. You know that feeling inside. So you understand the feeling of helping people. It's just helping so much more individuals when you count the animals. If you count the people that you're helping and you count the animals that you're helping a lot more individuals, so it's a lot more fulfilling.
You're so right, man. It is. You can see it from a selfish perspective even. Like, not even that we're helping others, just how good it feels, right? It feels incredible to help people.
It's natural. We're supposed to feel that way. I think we're supposed to be in service to others. Look at the most successful people in the world. If you think of an entrepreneur or a business owner or a CEO, like, what are they really doing? They're providing a service, some sort of service, and people are paying them for that service. The better and more valuable their service is, the more people buy. It's just simple.
Yeah.
Right? It's simple economics. And you could have a service that people want, or you can have a service that people need. They're both could sell, and they both could give you the fulfillment that you're looking for. But there could be some that people want that could damage others, and that's one topic. But in general, it's a service that people want or people need, right? If it's food, people need it. And look at the biggest industries in the world. When you realize that you don't need certain foods, then it shifts. It shifts to the business shifts, and that's what's happening. We're seeing a huge shift in business.
Too true, man. I love it.
Yeah. All right, buddy. So it was so great seeing you. The last thing I want to ask is, where can people find you? If people love your message, they love what you're talking about, they really want to see your story, they want to see you continue to leave that legacy as you talk about through everything that you're doing, or they just want to get a good laugh, where can they find you?
Well, I am most active on Instagram. You can find me at the.cheesy.vegan, and pop up, say hello. I make sure that I engage with everybody, because whoever helps me spread the message, man, I appreciate you so much. So I would love to connect with more people like you do. I appreciate you so much, and it has been so lovely speaking to you. Yeah, for sure. And tell Recovering Carnist and Hudson Tarlow that I want them next on the podcast. Will do, dude. Yeah, I'll send him a message. All right. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Thank you so much. Have fun. Good night. I think it's nighttime in Sydney where you're at, or post a new video. Yeah. I mean, whatever's more important, sleep or
or activism. I don't know. All right. So have a good one. And I'll talk to you soon.
You too, legend. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.